Hey, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Systems Lab Live with your host, Ashley Schuler. I'm excited here today because we're going to be diving into more on project management and AI. And we're in this little mini series on ClickUp Brain. And so last week we talked about decision making and how to use ClickUp Brain for decision making. Really quickly, just wanted to say hello to everybody that's on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram, all the places, all the things. And we're going to have a good time tonight. I have a few things just for us to chat about, and then we're going to just go straight into ClickUp Docs, and we're going to look at it's a meeting template. And I'm excited to do so we can talk about how we can actually best utilize one-on-one meetings or team meetings or any type of ad hoc meetings that you have. How can ClickUp Brains, their AI feature, help us to make better decisions, create actual insights? And so I'm excited to do that here tonight. But I just have a few things to kind of talk about because as I was preparing for this live stream, I started to think about how many meetings that I'm a part of every single day and every single week. Okay. And so there's some stats that I came across that I found to be super interesting. So 40% of managers spend over 15 hours per week in meetings. Okay. And that's nearly 40% of their working time. And then there was another survey that said 182 senior managers indicated that 65% believe that meetings prevent them from completing their own work, while 71% of the senior managers find meetings unproductive and inefficient. And while tonight's live stream is not about like best meeting practices and things like that, I actually have about 4 or so live streams already, all on meeting management, how to make boring meetings, or no, not, you don't want to make boring meetings, how to not make your meetings boring. So I should actually put that in like a YouTube playlist, and I should put a link in my stories or in some of my other places, my other social media spots. But yeah, that's going to be really good, just for you to reference, like how to create effective meetings. Tonight we're really looking at, in terms of AI, in terms of as us as project managers, how are we utilizing these AI tools in these work management and project management platforms? How are we using that to help us in everyday work situations? So if you're on my email list, which you should be, and there's a link to that in my bio and also in the little caption area on the YouTube, but you should be on my email list because the past 4 or 5 weeks, we've been talking about AI and ethics and AI and project management, specifically AI and decision making. And my own personal journey, I share this on Threads, but my own personal journey with AI and project management has been super interesting because I was really slow to ChatGPT and all of these AI tools. I actually thought that it was a disservice to utilize AI tools because I'm like, we have a brain, like we can think of these things. We've been doing this work. So I'm like, why are we utilizing a tool to replace our brains? I guess maybe that's a play on word for ClickUp Brain. I don't know. But that was my thought. But then I started to read more about AI and its benefits and some of the dangers. And so I said, well, the only way that I'm going to make a decision on how I'm going to use AI, I just need to learn about it. I need to test out the tools. I need to see what's really out there. And specifically, I'm in the project management, program management, and operation space. And so I know for us as systems people and PM folks, our biggest thing is, how are we creating processes? How are we making things streamlined? How are we executing? How are we making things easier, not only for us, but for our team members, our CEOs, our clients, our coworkers, our team members, whomever. And so from the specific lens that I'm coming from is specifically when we are utilizing these work management tools. When we're utilizing these work management tools, I specifically want to know, like, how are these features going to benefit me and how I work. So that's how we're approaching this thing. And so the question I had that's been swarming in my mind is, even from the perspective of deliverables and work output, how do we maintain the integrity by utilizing these tools? Because there's always an aspect of, oh, you use ChatGPT or you use this, and as if it's a bad thing to use it or if it's inauthentic to use it. So I think we're gonna have a good time going through this particular journey, so that we can start to unpack what does it mean to ethically use these tools but still maintain the authenticity and integrity of your work as you move forward and matriculate as a project manager, a program manager, where you're doing various projects and running programs and all these different types of things. So that's why decision making last week, we talked a lot about what does it mean to have a decision making framework. So I gave like a 3-part framework. Yeah, it's super cool. And then I gave also like 5 areas to consider when making decisions. And then we dove into ClickUp Brain to kind of help us figure out how we can utilize this particular tool in our decision making process. So my big thing is, let me come up with the process and the framework, and then how am I integrating AI into my particular workflow, which is what one of our YouTube community members said last week, was like, hey, how do I figure out how to integrate AI into my workflow? And I thought that was a powerful question. I answered that in my email as well. What is happening? We got Claudia, Rosalind, Ashley, Tiffany. Thank you all for yeah, for being here. Yeah, and for doing your thing. Am I am I frozen on the LinkedIn? Let me on the Insta. Let's see if I am. Look like I stopped. Let's see if I stopped. No, 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 no. Let me I'm gonna refresh this page. It shouldn't, right? I don't know. I don't know if I'm still live on the live stream or not. Let me see something. Okay, I am. Okay, cool. Okay, no, it just needs a little refreshing. Okay, we good. We good. We good. We good. We good. I'm excited. Okay. All right, great. So that made me chuckle. So back to the stats, right? 40% of managers spend over 15 hours per week in meetings. 65% of a survey sent out to 182 senior managers believe that meetings prevent people or their team members from completing their own work. So my question of the day, is, if we as project leaders, project managers, operations professionals, if we are spending 15 plus hours in meetings, when are decisions actually made? Okay. When are decisions actually made? Because I think this is the question that we want to put inside here. So I put it in the chat, and I'm going to put it in I'm going to put it here as well. I'm going to put it as a banner. I'm going to create one because I'm like, it's a meaty one too. Okay. So I'm saying, if project managers and team members are spending 15 plus hours a week in meetings, when are they actually making decisions? Mm? This is a question, right? So how are these questions or decisions actually being made? How are they being made? If you're in a lot of meetings, doing all the things, meeting here, meeting there, doing this and doing that, how exactly are you making decisions? How are you doing it? Like, how are you doing it? If you're constantly in meetings, how are you making decisions? And so I think, so here's what I think needs to happen. I think that again, we are in this weird meeting culture where we are meeting, but we're not doing anything, right? Where the tension is, we're meeting all the time, but what's the outcome? And so that's the tension. And so we're going to see how we can utilize ClickUp Brain and the Docs feature to help us make efficient decisions, faster decisions, how we can focus in on that, right? And I think if we're in a spinning wheel of unproductive meetings, that leads to burnout, that leads to not being productive. People get mad, people can't do their work. And so it's just a whole gumbo mess of all the things. What's going on? The real Davis, how are you? The real D Ravis, good to see you. So that's what we're looking at right now. That's exactly what we are looking at right now. So that's what we are confronting today. We are confronting how are we making these meetings better and efficient? And so we're going to look at ClickUp Docs, and we're going to see how we can make meetings super efficient and how we can make decisions. So we're going to be doing some experimenting, and I'm very excited that is happening. So I'm going to share my screen. We are going to share the screen. Uh-huh. Oh, okay. We're in team meeting. First and foremost, if you have not been a part of, the new Docs experience that's going on within ClickUp Docs, you have to. So I think we'll take a little tour first, and then we'll dive into all the things. We'll make sure that we dive into all the things. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm gonna go here. Okay. So a few things to know is that you can, well, let's not get into Ask AI. We'll do that later. A few things to consider. I actually have a meeting management SOP, and you can have like, meeting. I have a whole thing like the types of meetings that you have: brainstorming, information sharing, decision making. What's the meeting criteria, meeting structure, meeting tips, the expectations, the outcomes, the document storage. I recommend that if you are utilizing ClickUp, yeah, and also another project management tool platform, that you have a SOP, a process guide, so that everybody gets an understanding of how meetings should be conducted, the expectations, all of these types of things. And so this is a really good tool to create with your team. Like, don't create it in a vacuum, like, for sure. Like, don't do it. Don't create it in a vacuum. But this is something that I created, and I think this is super beneficial, and it's a great launching pad for this. Okay, so here's the template that I also created as well. And what you can do inside of ClickUp is you want to click the three dots right here, and you can actually either you can save as a template, and then you can save it and name it as a template as well. You can copy a link, you can move it different places because there's like a whole docs center. And then there's, of course, sharing and permissions and things like that. But this is the cool thing right here is that you can put gifts in here. So I put some gifts in here: the meeting type, the date, the purpose of the meeting, the attendees and their role. You can also put a recording meeting link. Also, breaking news as well. ClickUp has just introduced ClickUp Calendar and AI Note Taker. So here's what we're seeing. And also Chat GPT is also in here too. So one thing that ClickUp has always been open and honest about is they're the one app that's going to replace everything. My stance and take was that, well, should it be that we want to replace everything? Like every single thing? Because there's some tools by function are just better at certain things, right? Like Loom is in its own like category in itself of being able to screen record. You can do SOPs and create, feedback videos and things like that. So like in their domain, they dominate in SOPs and screen recordings and doing mini trainings and things like that. They've just expanded into uh, note taking, which is huge, which is really, really huge. And everybody is really concerned, as they should be. You're in meetings. What are you saying? Who's saying what? What are the decisions? What are the action steps? So it makes perfect sense that we have a lot of these tools, our favorite work management apps, are really figuring out a way to help you solve the issue of being overwhelmed, of doing manual tasks, and just streamlining your process. So, a meeting recording link that could be something that's relevant to what you're doing. So you can always put the link here if you wanted to. I'd be interested in the automation that you could do for this. This is just me thinking out loud. Meeting notes. So something that you could do, again, you can do some fun stuff. I was just trying to make this super fun. I'm gonna you can put an emoji here, which I love. You can have like a topic, write the topic here, and then you could have notes. I think one thing I wanted to do here was, let me see something, because I actually wanted to edit this and put like the emoji. And I think, how did I want to do this? Well, notes could be this. And then I wanted to put like a red dot. Oops. So I basically want, what is it? Can you not do emoji? Can you not do a, all right, I'll figure that out later. I wanted to color that up a bit. But anyway, also, once you do the slash command, it's game over. You can do all the things. You can write with AI. You can create a template. You can put a table in here, which I think that's great, because if you wanted to put action items on there, and we'll do that when we run through our example. You can create a whiteboard, a checklist. You can do a stand-up. What else can you do? You can do everything. You can mention a whiteboard, a page, a task. You can put a Giphy in here. You can put a Loom. You do a strike through. You can do it all in here. Do colors and everything. So you put, your notes here. And then on the bottom, I have action items. So that's good. But I may, I actually like the way this is. I actually love the table. It is, or a list. You can put a list in here if you wanted to. Search a list. I think we wanted to go with Andrea's, I think this one, right? We'll just put that one there. If you wanted to put a list in here, you could. So that could make things super easy when you have your meetings. And then, if you wanted to put like your person and your action items here, you could. And then key decisions, right? Because tonight we're talking about how we can make decisions. So, that's certainly an option that you could put there, is being able to put the key decisions. And I think being able to have a spot for that, oh yeah, that's really gonna help out a lot, and just being able to focus in on that. Okay. So I love that. I love that. Any questions that people have so far, drop them in the chat. Drop them in the chat. So let's go over to the template. Well, hold on. Actually, okay, cool. Action items. So we're going to go into team meeting. I'm going to fill out some more information from this, and then we're going to have a good time. Like we're going to figure out how we can leverage ClickUp Brain through this meeting that we're having here. So we're in a meeting right now. So let's say, okay, I'm gonna lead out the meeting. Y'all out there in Insta and YouTube and LinkedIn, y'all are my team members. Okay, so we're in a meeting. Okay, we're in a meeting. We're having a good time, right? And I've put, we have the purpose of the meeting. We're going to review projects and tasks that we're working on. But more importantly, we're also working on implementing new processes to troubleshoot issues related to a help desk ticketing system. So we have a couple people on the team as well, and Liz, and we have Amber. So we have a business analyst, we got a marketing analyst, and so we have some people that are a part of the team as well. What's great about ClickUp is that you can click the @ symbol and tag somebody, a colleague that's in the system. So that's another way just for more interaction and things like that in terms of collaboration. We'll put the meeting link in here, right? We'll put that afterwards, but we're finishing up the notes for this, right? So the topic 1 is how to track mailbox issues such as billing issues, password resets, new platform community questions. We're going to talk about current challenges and things like that. We got notes. So we've kind of talked about these things, a need for a systemic approach to track and resolve issues, focus on reducing the manual workload and improving customer experience. We're looking at an inefficient ticket system. So we're looking at, the lack of organization, no clear ownership, unsure who is responding to what. Here are the problems that we've identified. We don't have, we just had topics 3 and 4 that were blank. So we really don't have any more topics. So we can get rid of those. And what we want to do here is, before we get into any action items, we want to look at some of these decisions that are being made. So we have a problem. So we have a high volume of repetitive support tickets. And if you all can identify, definitely put your comments in the chat because I'd love to talk with you through this. So some solutions that we're coming up with is that creating a comprehensive FAQ database, developing a self-service options for common issues, and implementing a tiered support system. So what I want to do for this is I want to come up with 3 to 4 more options. Okay. And I want to leverage some of the observations and the problems identified. And I want to ask ClickUp Brain how to come up with a decision that's going to be cost effective, that's going to be a good investment, but also is going to help us to identify the criteria to selecting a ticket system. So this is what I want to do. I want to ask AI, Access Premium OpenAI. Oh, okay. Oh, we were just talking about this. What if I click this? Oh, okay. Welcome back. Feel free to ask me anything about this doc. Okay, what potential solutions were proposed for managing repetitive support tickets? So I love that ClickUp Brain can intuitively be able to pull questions that you might want to know. But I think what we want to do here is we want to simply do this. Oh, well, let me close out of this right quick so I can go back to observation. So here's what we know. We know that a ticketing system lacks categorization. It causes delays in response times. We want ownership. So we want to really create criteria out of the key observations. And what we want to do is we want to create a requirements list, and we want to be able to get potential solutions for a ticketing system. So that's what we want to do. So based on observations and the problems identified, we want to create a list of criteria. So I want to ask AI. So I'm going to say, Based upon the inefficient ticketing system, we highlighted 2 issues, or really 4 main issues. You know what we can do? I just thought about this. I was gonna try to recall it myself, but why should we do that? I think we should copy and paste this. I think that's what we should do. Copy and paste that. Slow response and and lots of troubleshooting. Okay. Here we go. I got it. So in response to the inefficient ticketing system, we identified 4 main issues. Of these 4 issues, we need to create a criteria list that would help us identify a platform to create a ticketing system. Okay. We have these, and then we can have manual troubleshooting, manual troubleshooting. And there's no centralized tracking of high frequency issues or service trends. So that's the question, is that what we're trying to do here is we have some decisions to make. So we know the issue is that we have some inefficiencies around our help desk ticketing system. We recognize that, we see the issues. Now we need to make some decisions on how we're going to go about selecting a tool to help us. But before we do that, we got to get settled on the core criteria. So in the chat, what sort of criteria would you put out there? Like what would you have as criteria for this system? Put that in the chat, and I'll definitely love to interact and talk with you guys through it. So we'll see what ClickUp Brain says, and with the new Chat GPT model. So I'm excited about that. Let's see what everybody says about this. So I'm gonna go and see what they said. Okay, to create a criteria list for identifying a platform to address inefficiencies in the ticketing system, we can focus on the issues identified during the meeting. Here's a proposed criteria list: categorization capabilities, boom, alignment, automation for trouble, tracking and reporting, self-service scalability, integrate. Would you like to refine this list? So, and one thing I do love about ClickUp Brain is that they will ask some core critical questions, some follow-ups. Can you help me refine this criteria list further? What platforms would meet this criteria? Which is what we're going with. Let's create a document to formalize this criteria list. So one thing that I would do in this process is, number one, is I would take this information, create a doc, and then go back to the team and say, okay, let's spend some time refining the list. Okay. So I am a big proponent. We want to utilize AI to be able to help us be able to think through the process. But again, put your own sauce on it, present it to the team and say, hey, is this hitting the mark based upon what we've said? All right. Some things that you could do within that is that you could copy this, you could create a task, you could retry if you wanted something different. So one thing is really interesting. So you could create a task. So I might want to assign this to somebody to say, hey, the task name could be right. And wow, this was pretty cool. Criteria list for help desk. Super easy to do. You can assign it. We're going to assign it to Liz. and we're going to put a due date by the 2nd. And we're going to make this, a high priority. And I'm going to take this off. But one thing I'm going to say here is I'm going to ask Liz, I'm going to say, hey, Liz, here is a list of criteria for you to review. Can you create I'm going to ask her to create a two-way doc. You probably do that in ClickUp somehow. Yeah, I know you can do it in Coda. Can you create we won't make this complicated. Can you create a recommendations, wait a minute, you don't want to say recommendations, a requirements, that's what I'm trying to say, a requirements document listing out the core criteria for the help desk platform solution we are currently working on. Let me know if you have any questions. Tag me. And then we can create the task, right? Boom. So now this has created the task. So, if we go back here, okay, cool. Issue and criteria meetings. Okay. So we have that. And so another thing that we could also do as well is we see that we have a problem, we have a solution. And one thing that we can do is also think through, what does it look like to create a FAQ database, like a comprehensive FAQ database. So that's something that we could also think through as well. Like, do we actually, how would we actually do that? Develop a self-service option for common issues and things. So we could, also look into that as well. So I think what we want to do is, and I love this because I believe like that you can be able to, oh, wait a minute. I just thought of something. What's this? Okay. It's the same thing. So one thing I think that we could do is ask ClickUp Brain and say and what is this section called? Oh, in the problem and potential solutions, we'll create this prompt. In the problem and potential solutions section of key decisions, we want to know the best platforms for creating a FAQ database. Can you review the potential solution and help us with finding the right platform? But even bigger than that, we could also still ask the question of what is the best platform, but also criteria wise, similar to what we talked about with the ticketing solution. We could look at it from that perspective. What are the best ways that we can integrate an FAQ database into a ticketing system? Also, can we find tools that would integrate an FAQ database with the ticketing system? Okay, let's see what it says. I'm excited. Ooh, I reviewed the key decisions section in the team meeting doc. I love how it tagged it right here. Here's how we can address your questions. To create a comprehensive FAQ database, consider the following platforms: Zendesk Guide, Freshdesk, Help Juice, Notion, Tools, Zoho Desk, Zendesk, Zapier. Awesome. Awesome. So I think one of the things that I think a lot about when utilizing ClickUp Brain is that you have to have a really good idea in a sense of like the direction. So what I want to say is that that's why it's super relevant to when you're in meetings and you're coming up with solutions, you need to make decisions. This is why we talked about the 5 different areas of decision making criteria. We talked about budget, we talked about resources, we talked about if it's in scope, within the project. And we had a few more as well. So in context to you thinking about the various factors of you making a decision, that can help you create a prompt within ClickUp Brain that's going to help you just make a more efficient, innovative, and even more creative decision, I believe. So knowing what we know now, let's see how ClickUp Brain can help us with budgeting, because I think this is really good. Let me go back here. So we talked about FAQ database. So another question on the FAQ database. So the question that we're going to ask too is that basically stating our budget, we have to consider budget costs. Our budget, we can't go over, maybe we can't go over like $50 a month. Like maybe, yeah, we need a table. That's what we need. We need a table that can help us go from like the low end to medium to a high end. We have a budget of, I don't know, $2,000 for the platform. In light of the budget budget, we will need to see a chart. Yeah, we'll need to see a chart from low end to high end based upon the recommendations of platform tools you suggested, such as Zendesk, Zapier, and I think Help Juice. So let's see what exactly ClickUp Brain can help us with. Let's see what it says. Would you like me to organize this? Yeah, I would like for you. Yes. The pricing details. So we have all the pricing details right here. So Zendesk, $49 per user per month billed annually. Zapier, Help Juice. Yes, I would like it. I would like a chart with key criteria for building out. And I would like a chart with key criteria that will help us address the pain points for the help desk ticketing system. Ooh. We want to create a document. We definitely want a document. Hmm. Okay, let's see what it says, y'all. What? Look at that. Okay, so look what happened, y'all. This is pretty neat. This is pretty neat. So this is what happened, y'all. What's going on right now is that what we did is that based upon the criteria that we came up with, based upon the budget that we said that we had, we asked ClickUp Brain to help us come up with a criteria doc that with the platform to show the comparison. I'm pretty I'm excited about this. This is this is awesome. So categorization. So Zendesk, Help Juice, and Zapier. Limit organization. Ownership, clear ticket ownership, no direct, no ownership. Self-service, comprehensive, no built-in, strong self-service. Manual work overload, automation for ticket routing, responses, and follow-ups. Automates repetitive tasks, reduce workload efficiencies. So this is really neat because this really helps us. Ooh, look at this. It gives you recommendations. Best for comprehensive ticket management operation automation, Zendesk, Zapier, ideal for automating workflows, but requires integration with other tools. And so from there, I love this because what we can do even as a team, or you can assign this to somebody to say, hey, why don't you do some research and break down the pros and cons for this? Budget consideration, help to covers 4 users for plan, covers a professional plan, limits to 3 users. So I love this because you can do a lot with this platform comparison chart for help desk ticketing. You can take this, you can assign it to somebody. You could say, hey, I want you to do some more research. Let's weigh some pros and cons. Let's meet again and let's talk about the best recommendations and having having the team members decide as well. So I don't know about y'all, but this is quite exciting. This is quite exciting. So I think this is a really great use case and example of how you can go about getting some decisions on black and white, utilizing and leveraging ClickUp Brain to expand upon that, but then taking that, owning that, and saying, okay, based upon what we're solving for real in real time, let's expand upon what ClickUp Brain has produced for us. And I think this is a really great way that you can utilize this tool and be able to create some innovative solutions. So I'm excited about utilizing ClickUp Brain in this way, in a chat GPT model and things like that. I just feel like you can just go for the gold with this, to be quite honest. And even with this, oh, you can even, I love how you can even ask about, like, even within this doc, you can do even more asking about that. So budget chart. What one thing I would love to know here, and we can search the web. I think the follow-up question I had is, I'm writing this out and then I'll tell you guys what I'm writing. Can you tell me what potential integrations I may need and the additional costs associated with, I'm just gonna say with Zapier for right now. Let's see what it says. Oh, what about, oops, that's what I mean for Zapier. Oh, the platform. Yeah, there we go. Oh, that's good. That's good to know. Is that you can quote unquote at a task or a doc. Looks looks like we stumbled upon a hiccup in the matrix. We noted the error. Please try again later. All right. Ain't nothing wrong with that. So we'll try again later with that. But this, my friends, this has been super cool. So I'm excited to dive in more into ClickUp Brain. We are definitely going to move into another tool, maybe in another week. Maybe we'll just wrap up ClickUp Brain and maybe move into dashboards or move into a different feature, maybe expand upon docs a bit. But I'm excited about this because you're going to be able to utilize this platform to really help you be able to make better decisions. And so I'm excited about the use of this. And so let me know in the DMs. Let me know what you think about this. Share this with a friend or three. But this is super, super awesome. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to System Lab Live. We will be back next week. And I'm excited because we got more. We got more to share and got more to learn from. So thank you all so much. And I'm out.